Hi, welcome to this episode of Gridiron TV. I'm your host Stuart Young and I'm also joined by Alan Price. Alan, what have we got on tonight's show?
Well, we're going to have a nice rundown of all the games this week from the BAFA National Leagues. We'll try and break it down by Premiership, Division 1 and Division 2, run through some of the key scores. We're also going to be talking to a few people around the country, from London Blitz for example. We'll have a little catch-up of their really exciting match with the Warriors, the one a lot of people have been talking about this week.
Yep.
And then we'll also try and get some words from other people around town and show a few highlights of games themselves.
I mean, I've got an interview that I did with Rich Worsell recently. Rich Worsell, obviously, he's a British coach who learnt his trade in the UK and has moved to Laverne in Division 3 in California. So we'll be catching up with Rich later today.
Yeah.
We've also got Carl McCrann live in the studio as well. So we'll be chatting to Carl about the weekend's game against Tamworth and also his up-and-coming season and how they stand from a divisional point of view as well, Alan. So don't go away. Gridiron TV. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Gridiron TV. Thanks for staying with us. Alan, big games from the weekend.
Yep.
We're going to go through the Premier League first. Obviously, literally the biggest game of the weekend was Blitz Warriors. How did that go?
Definitely, that was a really close match-up. Obviously, the rematch of last year's final, the two big teams. A lot of debate as to whether it would go one way or the other. The Blitz have got this amazing record of being unbeaten. In the end, it's a lot of people thought it would either be a big score or a very small score. Traditionally, it's only 1 or 2 points in it. It was another tight one here, but this time it went to the Warriors, so a bit of a
bit of change then for the start. Yeah, it sounded like it was more a sort of defensive battle.
It was.
With the score.
There was a lot of toing and froing, so not a lot of points to be said for, but. They did manage to seal it out in the end. They got an interception right at the end of the game just to close it out and halt a Blitz drive. So, well done to them. It's a good result for them.
Yeah, definitely is. And the Warriors have been going really strong this season so far. I mean, a 7-3 win against the Blitz, away from home as well, which is a result that anybody would walk away with. And if you offered that at the very beginning, I'm sure the head coach at the Warriors would walk with it.
Definitely, I'm sure that's going to help them.
So what other games did we have in the Premier League?
On the other side, we've got Doncaster and Leicester. That was a much bigger score and much more in favour of Doncaster. So final score, 44 points to 14. So again, much less of a much wider, more dominant, exactly. So some a lot more offence on the fields, certainly. So probably a better one to watch, in fact.
Yeah. Well, we'll try and get footage for that, so stay with us when we try and get some footage for that game. It was good to see. So anyone else sort of sticks out?
Well, the other one was was quite a big rivalry emerging between the East Kilbride Pirates and the Tamworth Phoenix. They played a couple of weeks ago, and Tamworth got the best of them on that one, on their home ground. So it was returning to Glasgow for this one, and EK took it this time. They managed to build a lead and then hold on to it as Tamworth tried to come back at the end, but the Pirates' defence stood firm, so that's a big win for them in their first home game of the season, so it's no doubt going to boost them.
So it kind of knocks the Premier North wide open then, really, between Tamworth and East Kilbride?
It does, so it's going to make it quite exciting, I think. You're not just going to have one team that's just going to race away with it, you're going to have a good match throughout the year.
And don't go away, we'll be right back. We will be talking in the studio with Karl McCrann from the East Kilbride Pirates. Welcome back to Gridiron TV. I'm now pleased to be joined by defensive lineman and now linebacker Karl McCrann from the East Kilbride Pirates. Karl, welcome to the show.
Hi there, how you doing?
Thanks for coming on. Obviously you had a big game yesterday. How are you feeling from that?
I'm still pretty banged up, but hopefully I'll be feeling better in the next couple of days, so
good.
Should be alright.
Big win for the Pirates yesterday against Tamworth. Tell us all about that. Why was it such a big win for you guys?
It was a big win because they kind of put us in our place a couple of weeks ago. We thought we were going to go out and just command the game, but unfortunately they were the better team that day. So although we did lose, it was a blessing in disguise. So we came out today, we knew that we all had to step up our game, and we did, and we got the win. So it was good. It's good for the team as well. So
we also went to Tamworth. It's always difficult to go down there and play those guys, and you lost 23-3. Did you learn a lot as a team from that defeat?
Yeah, you always learn from losses. I mean, they were a good team. They executed well. Their tackling was some of the best that I've seen. I didn't see many broken tackles by our guys, so they stepped up the game, because the time before that when we played them was the British final. Time before that we beat them 25-0, so they've always got a point to prove. And this fixture, I think, from now on is going to be the rivalry in the North Division, Tamworth Phoenix and East Kilbride Pirates. So.
Good. You always want to see that kind of friendly rivalry within American football anyway. Now that takes you guys kind of level pegging in a division now. You know, you've got the Yorkshire Rams in 2-3 weeks' time.
Sure, yeah.
Yep, away from home. So another tough away trip for you guys as well. What's the difference going to be between you and Tamworth come the end of the season?
I think a lot of people thought between our team and other teams is that we might have 1 or 2 players that are a lot better than the rest of the teams. But we've had those players missing for a couple of weeks, and what's happened is the rest of the players have stepped up. I mean, I'm proud of a lot of players that played yesterday, and I think it's going to carry us on for the rest of the season. I think we're going to play good football. So,
I mean, we want to give a big shout out to one of your players, Lucas, who unfortunately broke his leg. So from everybody here at Gridiron TV, Lucas, I hope you get well very soon. I understand it's quite a bad leg break he took yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was both bones in the leg, so fingers crossed he's back, at least supporting us.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be good to see him back anyway. About yourself though, you mentioned in your introduction you were a defensive lineman. You've now moved to linebacker. What came about that? Why did you change up?
I was just tired of being fat, I guess. I was 21.5 stone a year and a half ago, so I managed to get rid of 6.5. What's
your secret?
And less KFC, less Nando's, less chicken. So, well, not less chicken, but you know, everything else. So. It's just seeing the competition that's coming into the team. No longer can you sit around and be like, yeah, I'll get my starting spot and stuff. It's now you need to go to the gym, you need to be fit in order to get some sort of game time. So it's good.
Carl, you had your first game yesterday at linebacker. How did you feel the transition went from one position to the next? How did you feel you got on yesterday?
I think my instinct kind of brought me through a bit. It's a totally different position because obviously, well, majority of the time with defensive line, you're going forward. It's either going to be forward right, forward left. But with linebacker, you're dropping backwards, using your hips and knees and ankles a lot more. So that's what's hurting today. We've done well, obviously, having some of our key players from defence out, James McIntosh and Lee Collins, people stepping up. I feel that I've done enough, but I still want to improve. Yeah. So hopefully
it's always difficult getting that transition from one position to the next. You say you're used to one thing, moving left and right. And I think it's very important for your game as an individual, but also as a team, that the fact that they can then use you as more a utility player. Yeah, so you can sort of like fit into various positions. I mean, at the start of the season, you guys won the Division 1 quite comfortably last year. Do you feel obviously the step up to the Premier League? Are you coping well with that? How's your team sort of getting used to the step up?
Well, I think with the restructure of the league, I think the majority of the teams that we played against last year, I think they're still sort of in the mix. The Yorkshire Rams, we've played them already. With Tamworth, we played them as well. Obviously not last season, but the season before, I think.
Okay. We'll check that.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, with the competition with the Tamworth, obviously we're going to have, depending on if we get to the playoffs, we'll have to maybe play the London Blitz or the London Cobras. So the competition will be tough come the playoffs, I believe. But as long as we stick to what we know best, play hard football, play fast football, then I think we'll at least get to the playoffs.
The key is trying to get home field advantage.
Yeah, definitely.
Throughout the whole of the playoffs. I mean, you mentioned obviously meeting up against the London Blitz and whatnot, but that will make you guys better players as well. I mean, going up against these guys, we saw yesterday, the Warriors winning narrowly 7-3. So the Blitz are beatable. They are beatable on your day. I mean, but that'll make you guys better players, and you can go and learn new things about yourself, but as well as a team as well. So I mean, look at the start of the season. What did your head coach say to you guys at the start of the season? Did he expect you to hit the playoffs, or did he say something different? What did he expect from you?
There's always a high expectation with the Pirates because a lot of us know the talent levels that we have. Our coach wants us to get to the playoffs, and I don't think there's going to be a person in this team that doesn't want to be in the playoffs. I mean, you don't want to play a regular season just to watch the best games of the season at the end. So I think there's a lot of players in the team, including myself, that are putting the time out with training to try and reach that goal. So.
Good. Well, it's good to see you guys are back on track again, and obviously I think it's point difference at the moment sort of separates you and Tamworth just now, and hopefully you'll be able to rack up the points against other opposition in the coming weeks. So Carl, appreciate you taking your time out, and good luck with the rest of the season, and also good luck against the Rams in 3 weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
So don't go away, Gridiron TV, we'll be right back. And welcome back to Gridiron TV. Thank you to Karl McCrann there for coming on the show and chatting about the game yesterday against Tamworth Phoenix. So Alan, let's look at Division 1. Let's concentrate on Division 1 now. What games stuck out for you over the weekend?
Well, there were a couple of close ones actually. We'll start with Shropshire and Merseyside. So a really exciting one. A lot of toing and froing. Both teams have we've been talking to them through the week, through the last few hours, and they've given credit to each another for strong defence, for good balanced offence. The final score was 37-34 to Shropshire, so congratulations to them. That's
another cracking matchup.
A nice
good
win.
to see that as well, yeah. Yeah. So anyone else stuck out for you?
Well, I mean, looking down the list here, the one that has to stick out is Kent Exiles versus Cambridgeshire Cats. Another incredibly tight one. It's 30-29 to Cambridgeshire. Kent had the chance to win it right at the end on the 2-point conversion, but they just missed out. So it is a bit of a shame. To the credit, the Kent coach is a great coach, and we were talking about it, and he said, we went for the 2 points because we want to go for the win. They're a really forward team, want to try and get the win. They could have gone for 1 point and settled for the tie, but give it a shot. If they missed out, so it's a shame, but that
of
was
course, because there's no overtime in the British game, so
exactly. So it would have gone down as a draw.
Yeah. So that's fair enough. I mean, it sounds like a very exciting game from a spectator's point of view, anyway.
Definitely.
Any other big scores out there the weekend? Well,
the other ones are the 28-0 to Sussex Thunder. So kind of going away from these tight games, a clear victory of 4 scores for them. Yeah. So that'll help.
So kind of knocks their divisions wide open then. You look at all the scores from the weekend. So very exciting stuff happening in Division 1. Obviously, we finish off with the game against West Coast Trojans and the Caesars.
Well, we managed to catch up with some of the highlights from the film crew that were filming that, and that was a nice one to watch as well. Congratulations to the Trojans on the road, but picking up a good victory there. So
I'm sure Bag will be quite happy with that one.
Certainly, he'll be proud of his team for the efforts they got through in that one.
Good. We talk about the West Coast Trojans Nottingham Caesars game. Here's highlights of that game now, courtesy of Inkspot Media.
I'm seeing things in double vision. I found a brand new world where the dead roam free. It just looks the same to me. So where's the urgency? Oh no, not now. Let my sanity go. Oh no, not now. Let my sanity go. You're out of control. You use a wheelchair when you're not at home. You've got friends, I'm not your enemy. So step back and please don't speak to me. You can't tell me what to do. I'm seeing things in double vision. I found a brand new world where the dead roam free. It just looks the same to me. So where's the urgency? Oh no! I'm seeing things in double vision. I found a brand new world where the dead roam free. It just looks the same to me. So where's the urgency? Yeah, drop down and sell me. each song that we sang together. Every word reminds me what I left behind. I'm not scared of anything except being here forever. I think I'm scared of everything except being scared together. If you go to Tokyo when I'm still at home, we'll never get along. We'll never get along. If you go to Tokyo when I'm still at home, we'll never get along. We'll never get along. If you go to Tokyo, then take me too. If you go to Tokyo, then take me too. If you go to Tokyo when I'm still at home, we'll never get along. We'll never get along. If you go to Tokyo when I'm still at home, we'll never get along. We'll never get along. If you go to Tokyo when I'm still at home, we'll never get along. We'll never get along. If you go to Tokyo when I'm still at home, we'll never get along. We'll never get along.
Hi and welcome back again. Thank you to Inkspot Media for providing the footage of the Caesars Trojans game there. Alan, let's have a look at Division 2.
Yep.
Games that stuck out for you in Division 2 this week?
So let's start with DC Presidents and Manchester Titans. There was DC's first home game. They've got a new venue. Looks beautiful in the images we've seen. Really kind of made it nice and professional. Their chance to shine against Manchester, and it was close through to the first half in the third quarter. But the Titans have been there. They've been through Division 1. You know, they're a long-standing team, so they've got a lot of experience. Yeah. And that showed in the end of the game. They got an extra couple of scores to take it away to win 34-22. So
quite a good game then. I mean, I've been seeing Jeff Rutter and the DC Presidents posting on Facebook recently about their new goosenecks, and the facilities look absolutely fantastic. And I believe they had a 300 paying gate.
Yes, it's great to see people taking that passion for their own grounds and making their setup as professional as possible. And obviously you're going to get people in, paying customers to come in and watch it. And if people can have that great experience of watching football, even just at the amateur level, it boosts the game as a whole. People go away with a much more positive impression of it.
And it's fun for the team at the end of the day as well.
Of course.
And the good thing is, DC Presidents, around years ago, they've just come back. They've done a good, job setting back up again through affiliate status, and they're doing pretty well in the league. But it's good that the fact that they've got great facilities, and that's where we've been talking about. Sport needs to go is good facilities. So well done to DC Presidents for putting on a good game day. Yep. So Alan, anything else you've got there?
Well, we'll mention the Lincolnshire game, Sheffield Lincolnshire. I think this was Sheffield have done well. They had 84 points in one of the previous games, so they're on a nice roll. And again, they got almost to 40 points in this game, so they walk away with another win, another comfortable win. Good.
I mean, I believe the game was called 2 minutes warning. I believe the quarterback got injured.
So
It was quite scary.
A potentially scary injury. I think he's okay just now, just a couple of minor injuries, but again, we wish him well for his recovery.
Well, I believe what I heard is he's got whiplash and a concussion, what I believe. So get well soon, and I'm hoping you're back on the field again. So good to see you with a good recovery. So anything else?
Well, another big score from Colchester and Bedfordshire. Colchester coming out 49-20 victors there, so congratulations to them. Another big offensive day for them. And then we'll start the less score up north. We've got Glasgow Tigers going down to face Carlisle Border Reivers. Glasgow coming away with 26-0 victory there, so So going on the road, a few hours down south, but you know, coming away with what's important.
So they come back with a victory against a loss against Edinburgh, so it sort of gives the players more confidence then.
Definitely, so it's a nice bounce back. That Edinburgh game, where you know we saw the highlights through ourselves, and it was a really to and fro game. Both teams played well. That, really, it was a real shootout. So,
so do the Tigers players and the coaching staff a world of good with a bit of confidence?
Certainly, it's always good to go on the road. If you ever have a home loss and you go on the road, it's so important to get back on track and get that win straight away.
Good. Hi, welcome back to Gridiron TV. Well, the interview we have for you now is a very good interview. We're joined on the telephone by Rich Worsell. Rich Worsell was a coach in the United Kingdom and decided to apply his trade in the United States, where he is offensive coordinator for Division 3 side Laverne in California. So, Rich, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You coached in the United Kingdom for some time and played. What made you make that transition to America?
Honestly, it was one of those things that, you know, you spend so much time and effort putting into it in the British game, and you know, you develop a real passion for it, and you can't wait to get off work, you know, your office job, to go play or coach football. And one day I came home, my family was like, well, why don't you try pursuing this as a career? And obviously that's going to be in the US, so they kind of supported me and said, go for it. So I started applying for jobs and got really lucky and got a good job right off the bat as a graduate assistant up at a small school in Wisconsin, and just kind of thought I'll go try it for 2 years and see if I really want to do this as a career, and never really looked back. So I got really lucky in being able to sort of pursue something that was a real passion of mine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what was your experience in the UK? Who did you coach for? Who did you play for?
Well, I played a little youth football before I went to college for the mighty East Grinstead Knights. Didn't really do too much there. Then went to University at Aberystwyth in Wales and played there for a couple of years before I became the offensive coordinator and head coach, and finished out my time there as the head coach. Then I left there, and in the summer, because obviously you get a lot of summertime off, the previous summer I coached with the London O's. Learned really a lot from Rick Abe and you know, Jim Messenger and Murray and some of the other coaches there. So just being around that environment was really fulfilling. And then after college, became the head coach of the newly reformed then Sussex Thunder. So it's kind of fun to track them and see how they're doing. Mm-hmm. And was the head coach there until I left and came over here, and then, you know, as all-star duty in the middle of that, coaching the Great Britain Bulldogs and things with Tony Atherstone and some really good coaches there. So pretty much anything I could get involved with, I was involved with.
I mean, we're tracking Brits who are doing well across in the States, and you know, we've got Tom Watt of the Sooners as well. He's ex-Sussex Thunder, I believe.
Yeah.
He's doing really well at linebacker at the Sooners at the moment. Are you seeing, with your experience in the States with Laverne, are you seeing more an influx of the British players and coaches coming through?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, the 10 years I've been out here now, you know, I've been able to recruit some British guys to come and play. There's a couple at my last school and at Illinois College that are playing, and then the previous school before that, Milliken, our kicker, was an English guy. And so it's really kind of encouraging that way to kind of see guys from Britain coming over and playing, and it's just a matter of time before they get the exposure that we start getting some scholarship guys going to big programs that gives the publicity that really is going to kick things off for people being excited. And I think that's just starting to happen more and more. I mean, people like FBU coming to Europe and giving more exposure to those kids. It's inevitable. And then there's, you know, every year there's like a couple of coaches coming over to learn, or that are taking on coaching responsibilities over here. So it's kind of fun to see it growing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, you mentioned there about FBU coming over to Scotland, or to the UK, but had the trials in Scotland. 11 UK players picked for the Euro All-Star team. I mean, that's just that's testament to how the game's progressed in the UK, isn't it?
Oh, I think so. I mean, there's always been the talent. I mean, it's exciting now. I think youth football and getting kids involved at that age is the way to build a great product, and you know, to give people something they want to see. So it's an absolute testament to the work being put in at the grassroots level, and to have 11 players selected to that team is huge, because that's almost a third of the roster.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the guys are getting the chance to play in the Alamo Dome. Not a lot of British kids will ever get the chance to really go down that route. If you were to say anything to these guys, if you had them in the room now and you're doing a team talk, what would you say to those 11 guys who have been picked?
I mean, you got to go and do it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and the exposure it brings is going to be phenomenal. You got to enjoy it, and but one big part is you want to leave no regret. So you want to work as hard as you possibly can to do the best you can possibly do. It's not just enough just to go compete and enjoy the experience. Oh, my lights turned off. It's you got to go compete, and so now it's a case of working hard and weightlifting and getting ready and being as ready as possible to go show that you can do something remarkable.
I mean, the kids obviously they want to go there. FPU have already said there's going to be scouts from various levels of college football looking not only at them, they're looking at the other guys from Europe, and obviously there's a team from Japan, the States, and also Canada. Is it easy to get a scholarship in the United States? I mean, what do these guys have to do to get to that next level, to get into a college scholarship?
It's incredibly hard. I mean, I did a presentation for some U.S. high school guys because even high school players over here assume they're going to get a scholarship, and there's about 120 Division I schools that have 85 scholarships each. So you're talking there's about 9,000 Division I full ride scholarships, and then after that Division II you're allowed a maximum of 32, and 1AA you can have 64. So you may be talking there's maybe 20,000 football scholarships in the entire United States. And there's over 1 million high school players. So it's you're competing against everybody in the United States to show what you can do. And it's incredibly hard. There's great players that don't get scholarships. Division III, we have no football scholarships. So everyone kind of thinks, well, you're just going to have a team of walk-ons, guys that aren't very good. Well, often we're competing against scholarship schools who offer a kid a football scholarship, and we're offering them a different experience, and so we're well aware that there is not that many football scholarships to go around.
And I suppose this is important why the FPU can come into play, isn't it? That they can come over and teach. It's not teaching them how to play football, it's teaching them how to train properly and to get you to that next level, which is the athlete level. Yeah,
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, you don't play football to get in shape, you got to get in shape to play football. And it's, when you're competing on a global scale like these guys are, I mean, you're talking about high school players that are lifting weights 4 or 5 days a week, and they're running, they're working with strength coaches in weight rooms. You've got to do all that just to be able to compete with them. You can't just turn up and play. So there's a real backbone of work that you need to be putting in. It's a year-round commitment, and then the games are kind of where, the final part of it in the summer or whenever your season is. So, there is a real amount of work you have to put in.
I mean, enough of talking about the players. Let's talk about your team, Laverne, Division III in the States. How's the preparations going for the up-and-coming season?
It's going well. We just finished spring practice. So I had about 70 guys out for spring ball. Going through in Division III spring ball, we don't wear shoulder pads or helmets. So it's a lot of fundamentals, a lot of footwork, and just kind of practicing a lot of the basic stuff that sometimes you don't have time for during the season. So it was good from that point of view, and recruiting is going really well. We got a large number of committed players right now coming in, and we're building this thing. We're rebuilding, and we're rebuilding really fast. So it's going to be exciting this fall camp, bringing in a large group of guys to compete, and that's one of our core philosophies: is the best players will play. So whether it's a senior or a freshman, if you're the best player at your position, you're going to start, and that creates a lot of good excitement for all the players because they feel like there's a hope to play. And so we're excited about everything that's going on, and we got a $4 million new field going in right now that'll be ready for the fall, and new uniforms are getting put together. It's an exciting time to be us.
Wow, $4 million football field.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And back home here in the UK, we're still playing on council pitches.
Yeah. I remember practicing in parking lots when I was back home a lot, so it's you just go where you can.
Because it was funny, we posted a video up of the Mud Bowl between the Lancashire Wolverines and the Nottingham Caesars. And if you can get a chance, go on their Facebook page and have a look. And it's just quite literally the Mud Bowl, and it's fantastic to see because it's. I've trained in that kind of condition before, and when I played at the Jack Cain Centre in Edinburgh, and it was just a case of it was just sheer mud puddles, and that's kind of enjoyment to playing football, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is getting out there and having fun, and that's why we got a new field this year, because our field last year was torn up and it was just mud all through the hashes, and so there was a couple of games where it was literally 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and it was kind of fun. It was the old school mentality for football. Now of course we're gonna have artificial turf, so we won't worry about that, but that's some fun stuff playing in the mud like that. It
certainly is, and I certainly missed that. But it's not. I don't miss them coming back and the missus turns and has a look at you when you open your kit bag.
Or you do my old favourite: leave the kit bag in the boot of the car for a week, and then go and look at it the next Sunday and like, oh no, what have I done?
That's brilliant. Well, look, let's promote your team here. I mean, Laverne, you're in Division 3. Is your schedule up? Who have you got first game of the season?
We open with. I got to think. I believe it's. I think we open with Whitworth out of Washington, and so we open. They fly down from Washington to play us first game of the year, and then we travel up to San Francisco to play Menlo College second game of the year, and then we're into our conference. We're in the Southern California Conference, so there's 8 teams in this conference competing for an automatic bid to the national playoffs. So we finished 3rd last year in our first season, so we're trying to get that automatic bid, then go to compete in the national playoffs. So it's going to be a good schedule. It should be really good for us.
I mean, it's good to see someone from the UK who's been really successful, and you've moved to the States, as I say, to further your career and develop yourself, but you're also developing the kids over there. If everybody in the UK want to follow your team, how can we go about doing that? Is there a website we can go on and follow your guys?
Yeah, we have the Laverne Athletics site. So if you go to ulv.edu, you can click over to the Leopards website, or we have a Facebook page. You can click and like, and we're just over 1,000 likes on there. So you can go on there, and we're posting videos and pictures from practice, and just as much info as we can get out. So that's a good place to start and kind of keeping track with what's going on every week. And then we actually have. I keep in touch with people back home usually pretty well. So if people are interested in coming and visiting and seeing what we're about, we're more than welcome. I've had a few guys in the past come over and visit and stay with me and watch training camp. And we have another young guy actually coming over from Hong Kong this year to come and do the same thing. So as much information as people want about us, we'll be more than happy to give it out.
Excellent. Well, look, Rich, I won't keep you. I know you've got practice this morning, so look, thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate you taking time to speak to us, and I wish your team all the very best for your up-and-coming season.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome back to Gridiron TV. Thank you to Rich Worsell for joining us on the telephone for that interview. He's a really intelligent guy. He knows his game, and he's doing quite well in Laverne. You're doing very well. He was actually, obviously, as you mentioned there on the video, he was talking about a $2 million football field developing at the moment. So it'd be fantastic to get something like that.
Absolutely,
exactly. So we talk about football. We talk about the big game in London with the Blitz against the Warriors. I'm now joined on the telephone by Mark Moss. Mark, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No problems. You're welcome. Mark, also a couple of things we want to discuss with yourself. Obviously the big game from the weekend against the Warriors, but certainly more importantly, your move through the Eurobowl and your big game this Sunday in Berlin. Now, let's briefly start with the Warriors game. How was it? Quite a close encounter by all accounts, but a defensive game, was it?
Yeah, I mean, if you look over the last few games that we've had with the Warriors, I mean, if you look at last season, I think the first game was 7-0 at their place. And then I think the game at ours during the season was 8-2, something like that, in the final. So it was sort of tight again. Although we won, it was 18-0. And yeah, Sunday was another tight game. They're a quality team throughout, and they've picked up some players in the off season. They've worked really hard, and obviously, they took the win on Sunday. So,
I mean, we look at Yeah, I mean, we look at the table at the moment. Obviously, the Warriors are ahead of yourself, but only because obviously you've still got a game in hand at the moment because of your European journey just now. You know, and they say 5-0, but they're given 2 games obviously for Farnham Knights pulling out. But you know, you look at both teams' defences. I've seen some footage from your guys' games recently, and also from the game in France as well. You seem to have a very solid, structured defence. Now, is that going to help you going into Berlin? Because Berlin at the moment are top of the group, and they're riding well again in the Northern Division in Germany. Is that going to stand your team in good stead when you make that trip?
That, without a doubt. I mean, the defence has been outstanding the last few years, and even more so this year again. Mm-hmm. It's a quality unit, and going into such a huge game for us, it's always good to have a quality unit like that. And we always talk about if you can hold a team to 7 points, one score in a game, or even one score in each half, you're always in with a good shout of winning that game. So. No, we're looking at that. We're going into this game. The defence performed outstandingly in Paris in the first Euro Bowl game, and they even picked up a score, which was nice.
It's always
I think they're on fire right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that stands us in good stead.
You obviously, I mean, you're talking about the game in France again, narrow victory. I mean, British League aside, Berlin Adler this weekend, Sunday, 2:00 kickoff, I believe. Now, are you picking up any injury worries in your travel over to Germany? Are you fully fit squad?
One or two injury niggles here and there coming out of the hard-fought game against the Warriors, but we should be good to go. Mm-hmm. We've got pretty good depth, so it's not something we particularly worry about. So we're looking forward to the game, and then should be fully fit and ready to go. It's a huge test for us, it's a step up again in class. So
What do you see as your biggest threat? Do you know? First off, do you know much about Berlin? Have you studied any game footage or?
Yeah. Well, we've got a bit of tape of them. We've had a look at that. Obviously, they've got a quality QB. Alex Good, American. They always have quality imports.
Is that Alex Good? Is it?
He's a real standout.
Yeah.
So obviously we'll have to take care of that. But they're a super well dual sided. On both sides of the ball, special teams as well. So it's just to us it's a step up in class. I think they're ranked 3 in the EFL rankings. Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't get any bigger than that, really, does it, playing a top 3 European side? So, it'll really test us, and that's why we've entered the competition this year. We need to push ourselves to the limit and test ourselves and see how good we really are.
I mean, obviously, we talk about, obviously, the UK representatives, yourself, playing against the German team, but within the German team, they've got a defensive lineman called David Laurie. Rather odd. Do you know much about David at all? Have you come across him before when you're playing?
No, not really. To be honest, I don't know. Not really.
I mean, it's quite interesting.
I don't know much about him, but the Germans or most European teams, if you look across the scope of European leagues, whether it be Germany or Austria or Finland or wherever, they always have a cross section of Brits playing. So it's not a surprise that the guys playing there. So, because they want to have the best guy.
We've got Femi Ogunwusi as well, who's an offensive lineman from the UK as well. So when you look through the roster, they've got, as you say, imports. They've got the guy Good, the quarterback who's excellent as well. So we've got a number of Canadians, Cameroon, and a couple of guys for the UK. But the way the Blitz have been going recently in Europe, they've been doing the British game really proud, and been watching the games, and something, you can go up against the best of them, and there's certainly nothing for the Blitz to fear this weekend, is there?
No, you're absolutely right there. I think we've always, one of the things we've always said, and this has come back since we started in Europe in 2010, was people always said, they say, you can't compete in Europe without imports. And I've never agreed with that. I don't think that's the case. I think that, you know, it's tough. You know, you're starting a little bit behind the curve, obviously. But I feel that if you develop your homegrown talent and your players, you know, and you really push through from youth, and you have to give the juniors an opportunity to play, which we've done this year in Europe, then you know, those guys are going to develop into quality players, and that's what we have to do. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having imports. I just believe that you can do it with homegrown talent. I think obviously it's going to take a lot longer.
Of course,
you've got to have time for the guys to develop. But I think that, you know, that's the way forward. If you want to have a solid domestic game, you know, and a solid national program, you have to work like that.
We spoke earlier in the year, and you were talking about you had bled, I think it was about between 15 and 19 rookies into the squad this year from your youth structure. Now, have these guys managed to get any game time this season, you know, particularly in the European competition as well? Have you managed to blood them at any point?
Yeah. So, you know, it's been quite outstanding this year. Charlie Jones, the young receiver, come up from juniors this year. And you know, he's played exceptionally well. Scored against the Spanish, which was nice.
Which is excellent. Again, you know, it's good to see young British players coming through from that, and also getting experience from the Euro Bowl as well. I mean, how's he coping with the pressures of you know, coming from youth, then obviously graduating to the Premiership South, but then also playing in the Euro Bowl? It's a big transition for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But they're all sort of taking it in their stride. I haven't seen any of them show any sort of wobbles, you know. I mean, at times you look around and their eyes are quite large. But you know, and I think Sunday will be another test. You know, you're going into that. I think it's a 20,000 seater stadium. I don't suppose there'll be 20,000 people there, but again, you know, that's another step up in class for them again.
Of course,
but you know, I think that you have to give these young guys opportunities, because they'll never develop otherwise. You know, to play at the highest level, they'll learn, and they'll learn quickly. So it's what we're trying to do.
I mean, have you played against German opponents before?
No, we haven't. This will be a first for us, so it'll be very, very interesting.
I mean, obviously it's at the Friedrich Ludwig Stadion in Berlin on Sunday at 2:00. For anyone out there, is the game being streamed at all anywhere, Mark? Do you know anything about that, so we can obviously get our fans to?
I'll be honest, I'm really not sure. I think that normally the games are sort of like that are streamed, but I couldn't tell you at the minute.
Well, we'll try and find out, and obviously give the people the chance to follow the Blitz, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be seeing you in the semi-final. Do you know who you could be up against in the semi-final at the moment, or is that decided yet? It'll be a bit of out of the frying pan into the fire. You know, if we come through Sunday, we'll either be playing Vienna Vikings or Swarco Tyrolean Raiders. Okay. So, if you ask me who I'd want out of them two, I don't think there's much to pick, and I wouldn't like to say two of the best teams in Europe, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless of that, our goal, obviously, without any doubt, is to go there and win. And if we do that, the big thing for us, if we do that, is we make a semi-final. But if we win on Sunday, we cement a place in the quarter-finals for next year. We don't have to go through group stages. We will host a Euro Bowl quarter-final, which is quite. When you think about it, I sort of have to take a step back and go, wow. And a few years ago, you wouldn't have dreamt of that, but hey.
Now, I mean, again, you know, we talk about, you know, your guys, you know, being on their game and hopefully beating Berlin Adler. How's obviously losing to your local rivals, all right? I mean, obviously, as big as gutting at best of days. How's their confidence levels now? Have they put that behind them now? Are they just concentrating purely on Berlin now, or have you gone through maybe what errors were maybe made on the day and ironed them out, and is the focus purely on Berlin now?
You know, as you rightly said, we focus one game at a time, and purely focused on Berlin. Obviously, that was a painful loss to lose to Warriors on Sunday. But as I said to the players afterwards, when you get, and it was something that I actually heard from Graham Henry, the rugby union, the All Blacks coach. He said, when you get to this level, you only really learn from your losses, and that's important. I think that you get that. I'm not saying we wanted to lose or anything, because obviously we didn't. But there's games like that are close, and you come away and you've lost, and obviously you're bitterly disappointed. Then you go away, and it's the little things you have to address. That we practiced on Tuesday, and we had a coaches meeting afterwards, and we talked about what could we do as coaches to be better. What to come out of that. Obviously, it's not a crisis by any means, but what can we do? And we established a few things, and to a good degree, when you're constantly winning, like domestically. I mean, I think, I don't know, was it 3 years or something ridiculous that we hadn't lost domestically?
Right. Yeah.
When you do that, there is definitely a tendency to become, a little bit blasé, perhaps. I don't know if that's the right turn of phrase, but you tend to miss the important small points that that you overlook at times.
I think is what you're looking for there.
And things like that. Yeah. That's probably the right.
I mean, the thing is, though, as you said,
and it brings things into sharp focus again.
Of course it does. And as you rightfully said about the All Blacks coach saying, somebody else obviously I'd heard as well, that to win first you must learn to lose. And I think with that as well, maybe the guys are saying, well, actually, Joseph, we're not invincible. We can't afford to make mistakes, or we can't afford to let the other team be the better of us. And something? That could fall clearly into your hands against Berlin. That loss could probably have been the best thing that's happened.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you do need a kick in the pants to wake to wake you up. You need a kick in the pants, and I need somebody to say, Lena, look, come on. We kick back a little bit there. We need to push on now. We need to sharpen that focus and move forward. And hopefully, this Sunday we can do that. So.
Okay, good. Well, Mark, I appreciate you taking time out to speak to us. I know you've got a busy schedule ahead of you in the coming week. I'd like to wish everybody, including yourself at London Blitz, the very best of luck. Keep the flag flying for the UK, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see you coming back to play in the semi-finals.
Yeah, thank you for that. We'll be doing our very best, not just for the Blitz, but also, for Britain. We'll hopefully bring home the W. So thank you very much.
No problems, mate. And also, Gridiron TV will be supporting you, and we'll try and find out where the game is being streamed live, and we'll certainly post a link up on our page and try and get as many fans behind you as we possibly can, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No problems, Mark. I appreciate you joining us again. Take care.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for on this episode of Gridiron TV. A big thank you to all our guests for joining us on this week's show. And good luck to all the teams who are playing in the national leagues this weekend. Remember, you can get us on Facebook at Gridiron TV. Yeah, that's right. Or if you prefer Twitter, you can go at Gridiron_TV. And remember, whether it's Facebook or Twitter, you can log into either of them to check for regular game day updates. So if you want to find out how your team's doing or any of the other teams around the country, just log in and keep up to date. And if you've got any stories for Gridiron TV, or you want your team to feature on our show, you can simply email us at gridirontv@gmail.com. And then you can head to the website at www.gridirontv.co.uk, where you can find all the scores, league standings, results, as well as all our other interviews that we've done. And it's a big thank you from myself, Stuart Young, and from Alan Price and everybody here at Gridiron TV. Thank you for joining us. And good night.